What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, Go Black to Africa. I want to go ahead and get this started here. I'm not sure if my guest is going to be coming in or not. There's been some difficulties over there in Senegal with some connections and all. And so I'm going to get started. If she calls in and then we can get her on. But I want to go ahead and share. Um, this information about love over fear. I know that a lot of people who's reached out to me have talked about wanting to go live in Africa, move to Africa, or just visit Africa, as well as maybe even visiting other places. And I find that your love for something will be tested by your fear. What I mean by that, family, is many people make sacrifices in life. I just did a video of a sister who her husband and the rest of her family left America because her love for her faith was greater than her fear of going in uncharted lands. And I looked at that as a very powerful move because this is where we are today. And whether you want to go ahead and pursue a dream, a goal, your aspirations, whether it's getting involved in a relationship, whether it's job, whether it's moving, whether it's 100 things, we are probably more dominated by our fears living a life than we are in the love that we have of trying to achieve in our life. You know, I've interviewed a lot of people. I've been to a lot of places, and it hurts my heart when I see people who are stuck in life because of fear. What I found is that greetings, everybody. Greetings to each and every one of you all. Let me go ahead and grab my tissue here. But I want some of y'all. I want some of you all to get this right here. I'll be going back to Africa in 3 more weeks. And in that travels back to Africa, I am going to settle in a couple of places and, get some of my businesses started. And I'm going to continue to move forward. You know, I used to have a lot of fear in my life back when I was younger and missed out on a lot of opportunities because of the fear. And fam, that how some people live a life sometimes of regret. The regret of just wish they would have done some things, wish they would have tried something, wish they would have went on that journey, wish they would have, whatever it might have been. And here it is that I see so many people who are so afraid, so rooted into something that it's hard to let go. Now, I am an advocate of Africa because I believe that that is our origin. It's our place. It's really our land of freedom. It's really where you'll get your respect. I believe you'll reach your full potential. I believe the sky is not the limit in Africa, that it's limitless. I believe that in everything that you are, that is in you, the Almighty, if you will, that you can do all things, that nothing should be able to hinder you. But the spirit of fear, one of the topics that people are talking about, well, everybody's going to Africa, but then there's a lot of people coming back. And so what? These people gave it a try. These people went to go see for themselves. These people went to go see, could they get in, would they fit in? Failure is when you don't try. That's failure. Unbeknownst to many people, in America, they tell you, everything is about, if you succeeded or not. No. Failure is when you haven't tried. My daughter called me up and gave me one of the greatest accolades I ever could have received 2 weeks ago. She's 22 years old, and I have a daughter 23. But she's my daughter who called me up, and she said, my daughter told me this. And I was so thankful that my daughter called me up and shared what's on her heart. And what she did was give me my flowers. What she did was she told me this exactly what she said. Dad, they say daddy. I love when they say daddy. I told them they can call me daddy. You ain't gonna say daddy, but no, we want to call you daddy. But my daughter calls me up now, stay on this subject matter because it's about love and fear. Which one overrides you? You're going to find what you love and you're going to find out what you don't based upon a fear that might keep you from doing what you want to do. You see, my daughter, she called me up and said, Daddy, me and my sister, my other daughter, they were talking. And they were kind of laughing and surprised that, they went back when they were younger. They started to reminisce. And it came to realization as they began to look at my walk in life and all my adventures I did. My daughter told me, she said, everything you done, Dad, you always succeeded in. And we find that so amazing that one minute you've into this and it goes great and all that right there. And you charter into this other avenue and all that right there. And then she said, I learned so much from you. I said, wow, thank you, daughter. Thank you. And she's like, it seems like, nothing will stop you. And I'm like, well, when I was younger, it did for a moment. But when I realized, what do I got to lose? When you got the go ahead, that nothing can stop you. I like how my sister says this right here. My sister says, this is what she says about herself. I always win. I don't never lose. I don't never lose. And I love that because I used to say that to my basketball team when I used to coach high school basketball. And I try to show them this right here. And I hope this is going to help somebody because sometimes, when we're talking about people going to visit a place or going to move to a place, going to venture in a new job, going to go and get a new relationship, going to get and try something new. Many people don't do it because of fear. But I told my basketball team this right here. I picked out the best player and I said, let's play one-on-one. And I guarantee you, I will not lose. So the whole team was surrounding us and everybody's circling all right there. And we went at it. And he beat me by 3 points. And everybody was like, you lost, coach, you lost, coach. And I called him in. I huddled him up. I said, here I am, 47 years old, playing an 18-year-old. And you think I lost because of a score they told you. The world told you that scoreboard means you either win or lose. And I'm saying, I didn't lose that game. See, I keep up with stats. I scored 12 points. I had gotten 8 rebounds. I stole the ball 3 times. That was a victory. And nobody's going to tell me that. You can walk away thinking because you feel good that you're 18, thriving, vibrant year old and a 47-year-old who have 4 rods in his back, who got knee issues. You think you won that game. This is the mindset that we have to overcome, especially being Black in America or in Canada or Europe, because we've been so conditioned. We've been dumbed down so much that we haven't even tapped into a little of our potential. They told us which direction we should go in doing work, and it's only supposed to be one thing. What do you want to do when you grow up? You mean I can only pick one thing? Well, you're going to have to go off to college, and you're going to have to pick you a career you want to go in. And they told us and they trapped us and they boxed us in. And then they had this fear put in us that what am I supposed to do? And then all of a sudden now we're playing this game of finding a purpose. What should I do? Where should I go? What this whole lie of what has trapped us in our mindset of believing that life is only supposed to be one way. And because of that belief, it stemmed fear in us. And as I talk to people and people send me emails and they're like, go black, at this time right now, it's not good for me to go. I love to go to Africa, but I can't because of this. And I've heard a lot of excuses, and rightfully so. I'm not in people's, shoes, but I know that there's a lot of fear when it comes to us making moves. When it comes to making a powerful move that can change your life forever, people will stay in a safe place and they won't even venture out. I hear so many people who give their reasons of why they can't do something. One of the words that I was brought up on that you shouldn't even be saying is I can't. That should never be in your mouth. I can't. How about you just try? How about you just do? Me and my wife was in conversation, and we were just having our conversation, husband and wife, and we talking stuff, and she said, well, I try to make sure that I try to make sure that I am doing right, and trying to make sure this is right for you and that is right for you, this and that. I told her, I said, baby, stop trying to make sure something is right. You're doing it. You will worry yourself to death if you're trying to worry about doing something right for somebody. How about just doing what you do? Because the fear of where we are is killing us so bad. I can see why we are stuck where we are as a people in a capitalistic this is me, my, I world. It's about selfish behavior. It's about narcissistic attitudes, and every man for himself. This right here is what is kept us back. I don't expect all Black people to be united. Not at all. We're all divided. All I'm saying is that if you can change your mindset, do you know your child is going to watch that? As my daughter, like I said, called me up and recognized her and my other daughter having conversations about daddy. My daughter told me this right here. Daddy, this is what she told me. She said some other things. She said her boss sent an email out to her group and told them that they were half-stepping and wasn't putting in full day's work by them being on the computer. They can check all that stuff out. And who's putting in good work? My daughter told me, she said, Daddy, you raised me better than what I had been doing. And she was right. I was one of those who was just barely doing enough. But Daddy, I watched you. She said, I watched you work so hard, and everything you did, you succeeded. Everything you did it like you put everything in it. And she said, this is what my daughter told me. She said she called her manager up and apologized for half-stepping, or what we used to call it back in the day, half-ass doing something. You see, a lot of us are so caught into so many things that our minds won't even allow us to even focus on one. Some of us have a knack of knowing how to juggle several things at one time. And in actuality, we all do juggle a lot of things. But a lot of us, when it comes down to really going for what could get you out of, your bad situation or get you into a better situation. We hold back because of fear. Oh, you're going to be in Ghana? It's just me? Yeah, I will too. I'll be there. For all y'all Ghanaians, I'll be back. I'll be back. And I'm going to show Ghana. I am going to show Ghana. You notice that, it just dawned on me that a lot of the YouTube channels that I watch, very few YouTube channels actually show Ghana. It's people who just talk like I'm talking in a room. And I'm like, a lot of people's not even showing Ghana. A lot of people's not getting it out and talking to the people. A lot of people aren't doing, connecting with the locals and videotaping and showing. And it's like interesting. But yeah, I'll be there in Ghana, April. But, you know, as I wait on my guest, I don't know. I haven't heard from her. I sent her a message this morning. I don't know if there's a mix up or anything. I figure I would have a conversation of hopefully helping somebody remove themselves out of their fear. Because even like the young lady I was going to interview today, I would have loved to hear her story of how did you get over the mountain of fear that you're going to move your children to a country you've never been in, which is a powerful move. And I hope that each of you all can at least grab hold of the message when I'm interviewing people on their journeys to Africa and what it took or what it takes or what it's about. Because it's challenging. If we are going to be a people who can stand upright, somebody said America is a way scarier. You know, we have to remove ourselves out of the fear. What the person just said right here, Kingston 20. And I was just sharing just the other day. I have noticed white people are scary people. Very scary people. They are so afraid of so much. It is amazing that we live in a country where I go to Africa, and this is one thing that I don't know if Africans realize this. They build a house, they build walls around it, and they don't even understand that all of that came from when the colonizers were there, when they lived in their houses to keep Africans from coming in, so they can be in their private behind their walls. Because most places in Africa, houses are behind walls. It's like living in prisons. That people are so afraid, so scary. That's why America has so much gun violence. Everybody's fearful. Everybody's touchy. That's why, you see people now just shoot you and kill you for nothing. They're scared you're going to hurt them. Oh, I'm going to get you before you get me. It's the same thing of, this going around buying up land, buying up neighborhoods and stuff because they're afraid. And we become so powerless as Black folks that here it is that we operate in that fashion. And we wonder why we get stuck in a rut and can't make advancements in our life in different things we're trying to get involved in. And really, it's because of fear. So then we build walls around ourselves, psychologically, mentally. We will build walls around ourselves so that we can stay in a safe zone, so that nothing can come and infiltrate us. And we hide behind it, all because of fear. Very few people that I meet, those who's gone after, I met hundreds of them. Those are the minority of the 37 million, 43 million, they say, of African Americans that live in America. But when you really talk to your friends, the subject matter will come up about security, job security. Many people are so afraid that they're walking around here scared about losing their job, their house, their car. That so many people have anxieties, turn to drugs, turn to alcohol. How do I know this? Because my wife is a physician. My wife, she comes home every day, and the first thing I ask her is, "How was your day, love?" And she explains to me her patients and the issues some of them are dealing with. And she says the number one thing, and she just told me this last week, probably for the second time, the number one thing that people are facing is anxiety. And that anxiety is being stemmed from fear. I said, "For real?" She says, "Yeah." She said, "I have never in my 26 years of practicing, I have never seen so many people who's have these fears, these anxieties." You know, the only way a person can get set free is to die. Now, I know you say, "What?" Really? The only way you can be set free from a fear is die. And that is die from the mindset of who you think you are. You're going to have to let old person go. Your old you're going to have to let it die. When I talk to people of my age, I'm 55 years old. Most of the people, they're stuck in the past. They want to always brag about what they did. I was high school, this and that, or when I was in college. Dude, that was 30 freaking years ago. What are you doing now? And then they get quiet, and it's because now, they know they're stagnant. And anything that is stagnant, that can't move like water, becomes polluted. And when you become polluted, in other words, you're stuck in a place. You're stuck in a place, not necessarily an environment, but you're stuck in a place that you're unable to go beyond where you are. So many of our people are there. So many of us are so stuck that we can't even move forward. The past, it's amazing. How can you be in your 50s and you want to gloat about what you did in high school? You want to talk about what you did in college? What are you doing now? What, you know, I've said this before. In order for you to get to the next place of life, you're going to have to tear down a wall of fear. It's just going to happen. You're going to have to give up something. You're going to have to sacrifice. That's real talk, y'all. In order to be able to get somewhere, you're going to have to sacrifice. I got into this Bitcoin, or this cryptocurrency. And I got into it and I had some fear. And I'm like, I'm putting my money in this right here. I don't really want to lose it. And I caught myself how I was behaving. And I was like, man, what you tripping off of, man? You freaking lose the money. You lose the freaking money. You gonna go in, you better go in. If you have a place that you're trying to go and do, because you know, so I'm sitting here, right? And I'm like, getting this cryptocurrency, getting this crypto coin, this coin, and that coin, and that coin. And what I'm doing is I'm strategically doing some things in order to position myself to have this thing in the future, not for me, but for my kids. So I'm having this fear that I'm watching. I woke up to my behavior and I saw that You're operating in fear. Since when you worried about what is going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen. I hope that it happens in the positive way that I want it to, but I don't know what's going to happen. But I know that I'm going to have to sacrifice something because I already wrote I would be a billionaire. I already wrote it in my see, I got something I write and I write down by my ideas what it's going to do and what it's going to become and how it's going to. I write that down. See, that right there is a validation. So when you walk into it, you show that, see, I spoke this very thing into existence. This is why my children are so amazed that when I do things, they're like, Dad, Daddy, you do these things and you're successful at it. Is because the success that they're seeing that where it got to, and they happen to be there when I started, they're amazed at it. But they don't understand that, you know, the sacrifice it took. I had to give up something. And so, we have to remove ourselves out of fear. You're going to have to go over or through a wall of fear in order to get where you want. And our people who are relocating, visiting, and going to different places, you don't realize you're not a failure because you came back to America because you exhausted maybe your finances or it just was not the place for you. What you actually did was succeed because it opened your mindset, hopefully, to a different way of life, a different way of thinking, a different way of living. Hopefully, that you didn't waste your time only looking on the surface of things. This is our problem we have. We don't want to delve deep into something. We just want to scratch the surface and say, I did it. We don't want to put the energy in to something. You know, I had just had talks night before last with my stepdaughter. And I was pouring into her and I was building her confidence in her. And I told her this. I said, I know you're about to she become blah blah blah. She's about to become a senior. And I shared with her that how well she's been doing as a teenage young lady. No problems with the law, no problems in school. She makes that honor roll. She's doing the things. She's got her a job. She likes her job. She's doing those things. And I told her, I said, you know what? You are so brilliant. And I would hate for you because she wants to go off to school, and my thing's entrepreneurship, but it's okay. There's no problem. They got so many opportunities to do an entrepreneur down the road, but this is the thing that she wants to go down, I guess, in school. And I told her this right here. I said, I hope that when you decide whatever profession to start out you want to do, that it compensates you for the brilliancy that you are. See, you can select something just to get by and turn around and they compensate you your $70,000, $80,000. But if you tap into the brilliancy that you are, the greatness that you are, you would shun everything until you find what it is or whoever it is that's going to pay you for what you're worth. You see, this whole fear thing, and I'm going to use my daughter as example, and she was like, "Oh, Daddy," my daughter. Well, let me finish with Serenity. I told her, I said, I hope that you would even entertain the idea of being what your mother has done, and that's being a physician. Because one, she's thought about being a veterinarian or you know something to that thing. And she thought about, a couple other things and stuff like that. But I'm like, look, go for those things that can afford you uh, more liberties. So my daughter, let me get on my daughter. My daughter, of course, and I know some of y'all probably heard the story, but here's the fear that stopped her. My daughter went to college, brilliant, mindset, brilliant. I mean, give her anything she learned, she's going to have no problem learning it until she got to college. She got a full ride scholarship to Duke University. Not one penny came out of my pocket. And she went to Duke University to study neuroscience. She was going to be in the brain, all that right there. And, you can look it up. Neuroscience, they start you off at $350,000 a year. But my daughter, because of the fact that majority of the things in her life had always come easy to her, she didn't have much challenges in life, except for when I was coaching her basketball. I coached her that basketball, and she couldn't handle some of my ways of coaching. But anyway, she gets to a couple of classes that she's studying, and she got fearful because she was so focused on a GPA, because a couple of classes she was struggling in, barely making a C's in them. And she got scared. She got scared because she was so used to seeing straight A's. She was a 4.3 student in high school and got her full ride scholarship to college. And then she gets there and she gets hit to a wall of some classes that is rocking her world. And she became very fearful. So fearful, she changed her major. And I'm like, what are you doing that for? What you scared of a challenge? So what? You can't make A's and everything. You're going to have to give up something. You're going to have to sacrifice more time. This is what you said you want to do. What you quitting for? Ain't no time for no daggone quitting. You decided you wanted to do that. Why are you going to let 2 classes that you have a hard time in prohibit you from going to what you said you wanted to do? Well, Daddy, I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking about, no, I don't want to hear that crap. It's all about fear. And you're letting fear stand in your way. But of course, Dad, had to let go because, when she gets that look, and she just like me anyway, she got that little quick, oh, okay, you said enough. All right, that's it. Let it go. She changed her major. She changed her major to computer science. From neuroscience, starting you off at $350,000 a year, to computer science, paying her in the, below 100,000. I won't say exactly how much, but it's below 100,000. And I shared with her, I said, do you know what you actually did? What you actually did was you just now caused yourself to work twice as much to get where you would have been making. And when I say work twice as much, the work in doing with your finances, not working twice as much on a job, but working your finances. What you have done was you have limited yourself with the capabilities of using your finances. I call them freedom papers. Using your finances to be able to leverage and be able to position yourself financially by going and maybe start a business or acquiring some property or houses and getting yourself now into that market of doing entrepreneurship and doing and working for yourself. It's going to take you that much longer now because you are making almost 4 times less than when you were, because what you were studying out of fear, you dropped it and went into something you're making 4 times less. Fear, family. Fear. And this is where we are. And now my daughter, I ain't never taught my daughters fear. I ain't never. That is, like I said, my other daughter called me up, and her and my other daughter were talking, and she said, "Daddy, everything that we seen you do, you've become successful in it." Yeah. How is that? Can't have a spirit of fear. You can't be afraid. Just do it. I used to like that Nike saying, just do it. That was one of my motivational tools back in the day. Just do it. There's no more excuses. If you're in a rut, if you're stuck in a place, if you're undecided what you should do, look, just do it. Because if you're not going to do it, you'll just be right where you are. And when your children are watching your behaviors of fear, guess what you're doing to your children? You're showing them how to conduct themselves in these trying situations. Star Fox said, you put too much pressure on her. No, we can handle anything. You see, you have been that mindset right here. Let me put that up there. That's good to talk about right here. See, so many people are afraid to be pushed. So many people are afraid to go through pressure. Pressure is what makes you. That's why you see so many people, like my wife said, the biggest thing today that she's seeing with her patients that are coming in is they're having anxieties. They're having these issues. They're dealing with a lot of fears that's been really harboring within them all this time that is eating them alive. Pressures. No, 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 no. I want you to go through pressure because when you go through pressure, it develops a tougher being. See, there's nothing you should not be able to handle. But because we live in a society that tells you, oh, you lost a loved one and you should mourn. Oh, my loved one, and not to degrade anybody lost loved ones, but this is what I'm saying. You go to some African countries, they celebrate. They celebrate life. They don't. I'm not going to say all African countries. I'm saying you can find cultures that do the opposite. See, we have been indoctrinated to do things differently or behave like Europeans when we are the ones who see life totally different. You lose a loved one, you celebrate the life that they have. Here, I've seen people when you lose loved ones, and nobody wants to lose a loved one, but it's a part of pressure in one's life. Losing a job is pressure. See, I know Star Fox is saying you put too much pressure on. For real, do you think life is going to sit back and not put pressure on her? We are so fragile today. We are so easy on our kids that we just want to pamper them, and they get out into this tough world, they can't handle it. You see these people who go around, these people who can't handle pressure. They shoot and kill you because they can't deal with it. Oh, you gonna fire me? I'm coming right back up to the job and I'm killing all of y'all. You gonna leave me? You my woman, you my man. You gonna leave me? And he kills her and the kids and himself. Can't handle pressure. That's the society that we're getting a weaker and weaker as a people. No, I tell my kids, you figure it out. I'm not going to help you. I want to see how tough you are. I want to see how strong you are. Daddy got your back, but I'm not going to be up here giving you a hand when you ain't standing. If you ain't trying to stand, why am I trying to help you? You got to help yourself first because look, if you keep coming to me, my days are shortened every day. The problem in Black communities is we've become such fragile, such sensitive people. We can't handle pressure. We have so much fears that we rather stay in a poor state of mind than an abundance of knowledge that we should have. We don't know how to embrace what life gives us. Sometimes a lot of our pressures come from own self-inflictions. We cause a lot of our own problems versus life have just thrown us a problem. But we have to get out of this, family. So my thing is, as far as means of encouraging each and every one of you all, is like the brothers and sisters who have taken a chance, sacrifice to go visit a land of Africa, to go live or what have you. That is a powerful move, just to try to see, is this going to be my land forever, my place of peace, a place I can rest, a place that I can purge, a place that I could detox, a place that I can come and I don't have to have these so-called ill wills of a way of life on me, but I really can step into a place now that I can be me. A great place of pressure is America. you know, and many of us know how to handle it, but many of us are falling. Many of us are falling. So if you want to know how you're really built, you're going to have to go through pressure. If you really want to see what you're capable of doing, you're going to have to push yourself. When I get off of here, I'm going straight to the gym. 55 years old, putting work in. I'll be on the treadmill. I'll be up here lifting the weights, trying to keep my body in a good natural state so I can have longevity. And it's costing me. It's costing me. But when people of my age and they say, man, how do you keep yourself together, man? You 55, man, you slim, this and that. You probably don't put no weight on. You can eat whatever you want. No, I'm in that gym sacrificing my time, my energy to try to stay healthy. I sacrifice. So we're going to have to give up something in order to succeed, whether it's your physical body, whether it's your life and your marriage, whether it is your career and your job, whether it's you relocating to a different place. We sometimes don't want to put it in to get to where we need. And I've watched this rhetoric of a behavior of our people time and time again, because I get all the emails, so many emails, people are asking about this and that. And I'll answer every one of my emails. I answer every last one of my emails. Well, let me stop that. Maybe 99.8% of them I don't. 99.8% I answer, because there's things that fall through. And sometimes people just maybe just have silly questions they ask just to waste your time. But anyway, my objective is to at least motivate and encourage us so that we can break through the fear. And it's going to cost us. It's going to cost you something to achieve. Take it from me. I never thought I would be 55 years old talking to people and encourage them, but I've done it my whole life. I've done it my whole life, and I've been very successful at what I do. And I'm going to live by the core values that I have in order to continue to succeed in the areas I want. And my kids finally are seeing it. And hopefully they decide when I go over to Africa that they come over too as well and visit and learn, because it's a lot of teaching in Africa. And my thing is that, in my helping people, I have had people surprise me over the years, find me and just tell me a thank you, that you saved my life. I've had that done several times and I didn't even know it. So I do at least know a little of how we can overcome these areas of fear, because suicide rates are up. As my wife said, her practicing her medicine and her patients are She says she's never seen so many people coming in with anxiety issues. People afraid, people are in low places. Depression, she said. Depression. Do y'all know what depression is? My definition of depression is you not getting what you want. Now, I know there are some chemical imbalances when it comes to depression, and there are some psychosis that people deal with. But I'm talking about people who naturally or typically function on a level and yet will fall into depression. I've fallen into depression. I've been in depression. And it stems from you, things not turning out the way you wanted them to be. So you fall into depression. And I want to encourage each and every one of you all because suicides are high. I'm going to keep saying that. The rates of anxieties and murders and families dysfunctions and stuff are so high. That it's killing us. Does anybody have any questions? I will be returning back to Africa on the 3rd. Well, I ain't gonna give a specific date. But I'm gonna be back in Africa within a month. And I will be going to Ghana. I will be going to Cameroon. I will be going over to South Africa. For those who've been asking me about South Africa, I will be going to Zambia, and then, of course, Tanzania. Not in that order, but I will be showing new adventures in my trips to Africa. Please share. Anybody have any questions? I'll be glad to answer. This is open. I'm an open, transparent guy. So 99.9% of the questions I will answer. Do you take the shot to travel to Africa? No. Can you come to Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka. I'm sorry, Sri Lanka. My mind went to Sierra Leone. I'm like, Sri Lanka. Yeah. I mean, I plan on. Me and my wife was talking about doing the Asia part here sometime this year. Does Ghana, you said Ghana make you take the jab? No, not for tourists coming in. They don't. Let's see here. Please put a question mark at the end of yours. What do you I don't know what that is. We'll see here. Yeah, so family, I'll wait for some more questions and all. But no matter where you are, I guess somebody's in Sri Lanka. No matter where you are, you can get yourself out of the rut of where you are. Out of all the people I've talked to, whether it's in South America, Central America, America, Canada, Africa, Europe, wherever I've been, I have found out that poverty is only a state of mind. I have found out by the people who live in poverty, they have a poor sense of mind or thinking, a poor thinking. I found out that most people who claim that they can't get out from where they are, they will give excuses to reasons of why they are where they are. Question: what is your opinion about the war in Eastern Europe? Two European nations fighting against each other that we shouldn't even concern ourselves with, except for on how it will impact a continent or a country or where you are. That's it. I don't need to involve myself with two Europeans fighting each other that so many of y'all claim white people get along. They do for self and they help each other. And I'm the first one to argue, say, no, they don't. They're always in division. Always. Let's see here. What happened to Justin Street Kid in Kenya? Very good question. The guy I stayed in contact with who had the phone, I can't reach him no more. So I don't know. But I will be going back to Kenya too, and to find out what's Justin at and stuff. So, do you consider ancestral worship evil? My thing is, what do you mean ancestral worship? What is worship? Because I can give homage to ancestors. I can give, I don't know what your word, because, I'm very careful of answering certain questions when there's words that are really, you might have a different definition than I might have a different definition. But my thing is that I would say this right here. Whatever you decide to do, it will reveal itself as if it's real or not. So who am I to tell you that it is or not? But, there are people who give homage, or if you want to talk about worship, is worship giving a praise or an honor to someone, which we do? Is that worship? Yeah, I do. Can you suggest the best place to start for a single lady? Okay, best place where? Around the world? What? Please, yeah, let me know, Rodeo Rose. Um, what's up, Myrtle Johnson? Question: as veteran, can I still receive my military disability pay in another country? Yes, you can. You can live anywhere around the world and still can receive your military disability pay in another country. Were there a lot of white people in Botswana, and Namibia? Uh, I saw more. There's more definitely in my Namibia that I saw than I did see in Botswana. I think y'all should go check out Botswana and Namibia too. Those are very two interesting countries. And I still say, as far as the food cooking, Botswana first, Namibia second. They puts it down. You talking about, hold up, no, hold up. This is my mama cooking right here. What are y'all? Somebody, oh, what's up? Yeah, yeah. Y'all need to check it out. But Namibia has, from what I saw and I heard, there's more on the coastal, but more Europeans that are there. Don't let that frighten you, though. I wouldn't let that frighten you, because my thing is that really, to me, is who holds the power. Let's see here. Other questions. Can you give advice on saving money for repatriation? Yes. Yeah. I've done several videos on this. Okay. So you want some advice on saving money for repatriation. I've told people like this right here. Okay. Have a starting point in saving. I've had many people tell me, but I ain't got enough money to save. Yes, you do. See, there it goes again. There's the excuse. Can you sacrifice something? If you would really spend the time to get a piece of paper and write down everything you spend your money on, can you do that? Could you do that? Or if you use your debit card for everything, go ahead and print out your bank statement and then see how much money that goes out that you could really be saving. Now, I share that when I got my act together, I was introduced to a thing called the 70-30% rule. And that 70-30% rule was live off 70% and you put 30%, and that 30% you never touch unless goes towards something that's going to make you money. So that 30% is what's going to be your work. It's going to be your worker. So I started off less than 10%, and then it was $25 I put away a month. Then as time went on, I said, man, 25, I can put $50. Then I'm like, man, I can really. So I started to find areas that I was wasting. I used to drink back then. So I'm like, I can cut back on drinking. Or you know what? I eat out every day, maybe for lunch or something like that. Let me cut back. Let me sacrifice 2 days and take lunch to work and take that money and put it in. Let me save that. So you could always find. We got a lot of vices that we could cut back on. Where you like to drink, you like to smoke, you like to whatever, hang out, party, do whatever. You can find that money and set it aside. Come up with a plan. I say the 70-30% rule. Find your way to get to the 30%, and that money will only be towards business ventures that will bring you a return for your money. Don't be going out buying no $40,000 car when you got 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 80,000. Ooh, I can go buy this car. And it'd be the worst thing you ever did because cars depreciate. So I'm going to argue now today and say, no, cars just went up in price because of this. Because, yeah, yes, true. It's gone up. Some of these cars have gone up because of the supply chain being slowed down. But no. So, yeah, that is your answer right there, is get you to find out where you are wasting money and take it and start to save the money. Get yourself into a lifestyle of 70-30%. That's where I started. I started from there. And then when I had $16,000, I opened up a business. And that business brought me more money than I was making in the military at the time. Let's see here. Other questions. Let's see here. So strangely, poor countries are safer. How were your experiences in Senegal? My experience in Senegal was nice. I had a great time in Senegal. We were supposed to go the end of this month, but there again, there was some traveling, man. I tell you, it's tough. And of course, my wife, being that she only had a limited amount of time, I figure, maybe next time. It wasn't long enough. Senegal is a nice country. The It's a French speaking country. Now, for me personally, just me, I don't want to live in a country I got to learn another European language. I'd rather learn an African language. But people are beautiful. It's more predominantly for Muslim religions there. So you got a very loving people, very kind people. I love being around the Muslims in Africa. I love being around even those that are Christians in Africa. Their operation and behaviors are a little different than I sometimes see in different places. But it's a Muslim state. Senegal, is a Muslim state. But it has places that you can go check out. Like I said, I just did a video of a woman, her family live in Senegal. So check out that interview that she and her husband shares their experience there in Senegal. Actually, they are into helping and assisting people who are wanting to come to Senegal, whether it's purchase land, help them along their way, their journey, and assist them while they're there. So you can go ahead and check them out. Thanks for asking the question. Let's see here. Can you suggest the best place in Africa for a single Black lady traveling alone to visit for the first time? Go to Ghana. Now, you mentioned some stuff that I cannot measure, and that is, you said the words best place, the best, and you said you're traveling alone, so you're talking about safety. So those are tricky words to me. But I will say, hold 1 second here. Hold 1 second. I think that's my guest. And I'll start a new, I'm going to start, if she's going to come in, I'm going to stop this and then start another one and come in. But let me see what she has to say. Okay, yeah, she's not going to show. Okay. So you say a couple of things, but I'm going to say Ghana. And why do I say Ghana? Okay, Ghana is a safe place, but it has its issues too. I say Ghana because Ghana's going to give you I love about Ghana is it has the history of the transatlantic slave trade, and I believe in order for us to heal, because I believe every last one of us, stemming down to our DNA, are suffering in these countries that we have been behaving and operating like them. And yet, though we know we have been taking the hits, we have been taking the pains of the problems of a society that is prejudiced towards us, that pain still exists beyond us even knowing. That's why we see the pressures of us crashing in this day and time in America and in other countries. That every Black person you talk to who go to Africa tell you it feels like a weight been lifted off, because there is a connection genetically to Africa for you to go experience and see and get the untold answers to where we were only told a different story in these Western countries, how we got there. And by that, you will purify yourself. You will be purified. I'm just telling you, you're going to be purified. If you're coming with a heart of wanting to be cleansed, it's going to happen. If you just want to go and just check around, look around, and just do a tourist thing, or just, that's your business too. You can do that. But I mentioned Ghana because they have the historical places to show, the storytell, to be able for you to see before Europeans came, during the time of the slave trade, and how we see things today, can give you some answers to your questions. And so Ghana also is a place that you still Accra is a growing city, and it gives you a city atmosphere, but you still feel like you're in Africa. And then the Africans there, they still have a lot of traditions. And I love to see the women in their African garments. And I love to hear the African music played. So you get the feel of that. And tribes or kingdoms that Africans belong to, they take big pride in it. Big pride. So I say Ghana. Let's see other questions that we have here. Will you sponsor a group trip to Tanzania in the future? Yes, I'm in the plans of doing that. I'm planning on doing a tour to Ghana, tour in Tanzania, and tour in Ethiopia. So my trip back, and that's one reason I'm being in Ghana, is setting up and connecting with the people, a couple of the people who are in the tour business that I'm going to get my tour business kind of, kicked off. And I hate to say tour business, because what I want to do is what I just described, Ghana. I want to be that bridge for so many people who want to come to Africa and show them who your people are, where predominantly most of us probably came from, on the coastal line of the Africa. And so that there is some reconnection, so that when you return back to your Western world, you'll never be the same. You'll never be the same. Let's see here. Questions. Please put a question mark if you have a question. What's the best country to move to as a single mom, where there are communities to be a part of? I couldn't tell you that word best, because you're boxing me in when you say for a single mom and you want a best country, when I know there are many dimensions, part of everyday life, that has an impact on you that will probably override being in a community, being a single mom. What do I mean by that? Well, you might want to be close to a grocery store or an airport. you might want to be in a place that speaks more of your language, English. There's so many things that I can't just say here, because if you go there, then you'll be like, they ain't got this, that, this, and that, this, and that, or you know what? I'm not used to this, or whatever. I say to everyone, she bad, 1111, you have to go find for self. But I appreciate you asking me. But that's why I'm doing interviews. The woman I was supposed to interview today, she's a single mom with 4 kids in Senegal. You know, these are all the different people I'm trying to interview to give you all a taste of, hey, if she could do it, what's my excuse? If he could do it, what's my excuse? So that then, we have more knowledge and understanding by those who are already on the ground doing it. I wish she would have definitely let me know, but um, off to the next interview. Question: Dimitri Silva. Why do white people get upset when talking about skin color? We all have color. Nothing bad about it. So why are they fast, upset, and ready to call a brown person a racist? I don't know. It seems like they're the ones you need to ask. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see here. Did I visit Gambia before? Yeah, I visited Gambia before. Please go in my YouTube channel and go to the home, and then I broke down every country. It's easy for you to go to. You ain't got to go to the long list. When you go to, you're gonna go back to Africa, and then it's gonna have all the laundry list of videos. No, click on the Africa continent, go to home, and you're gonna see I broke down west of Africa, the countries I've been to, each one broken down in segments. East of Africa, I broke down every country. And go to my website. I got a beautiful website that I got the continent and every country I've been to. You can click the link. It's got the information, and I got the videos. I put 2 videos up of when I was in that country. So go to goblacktoafrica.com. And when you go there, scroll down, you're going to see the continent of Africa. Every country is a link. You can click on it, but not you. But the ones I haven't been to, they won't open. The ones that are colored, those are the countries I've been to. Click on it, and you'll see. So yes, I have been to Gambia before. Yes, I have. Would Africa accept me as a half black, half white? Yes, they will. They'll accept you if you was white. They don't care. And saying that, I am doing tours, and when I do my tours, I'm going to have 2 different tours, and that is one. It's going to be for African descendants of slaves, or African descendants, or Africans, or whatever people like to call themselves, or black, or brown, or whatever. I am doing a tours strictly for Africans, and then or African Americans, wherever you're from. But the other tour I'm gonna do separate is for mixed families. Now you could be mixed and go on the one with the other blacks or Africans, whatever you want to call it. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna say that. But anyway, some people say, well, you're segregating people, though. No, 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 no. The tours we're doing, and if you haven't been to Africa and you haven't been to the dungeons, it is a very sensitive, touchy atmosphere. And people's angers and will get upset to see what our ancestors went through when you're going through these places as the tour guide is sharing these traumatic stories of what was done to our people. And I saw and got to experience for myself how the group I was with, we were enraged and upset that there was a white group of people touring. They got the hell out of there because there were those who got vocal. Check my video out when we were spitting on the grave of those Europeans that was in the dungeons. And so I said, instead of it being to where people feel uncomfortable You know how us blacks are. We act differently than when white folks ain't around. Then when white folks around, then it's like we act different. No, we want you to have the full experience without thinking of others that you might offend or say something or whatever. But the other side, I understand that there are people who mom and dad might be, white, one's white, one black. Or you might be married. You might be black, your wife might be white, or your husband might be white, and you black. And you both want to go experience Africa, but you want to do it in a group setting. And yet, you might feel uncomfortable because, you're like, hey, why is the group looking at us? Because what his ancestors did to our people. So that is a very touchy thing that I realize. So it's going to be two different tours because I want people to experience it. Even the white people, I want them to experience, because even for them to understand what transpired, because they're taking out, you do know that this whole critical thinking thing has now opened up, that now they're going to take away slavery out of the textbooks because the white people are tired of their children coming home asking questions, and like, granddaddy did that, mama, to the black people, and daddy did were you part of, did you, grandma, they're tired. They want to suppress all that information. So they're changing school books, the information and history of what happened with slavery, they're done with it, they're putting it away. So now our children won't even have a chance to know how we get here. But there are people out there who do want to know that. All right. Well, let's answer the question. I said I can answer 99.9% of the question. So you can hit me with the question. Mix, why do we always accept mixed people as black? This is my thing right here. I'm not a man that's prejudiced against white people. Not at all. Do you know how many white people helped me along the way? Do you know what I just told you all, the 70-30% rule, about budgeting and finance? Do you know who taught me that? It was a white guy. Do you know when I was about to get kicked out of military, my officer in charge tried to get rid of me, who happened to be a black guy. But do you know who sacrificed his opportunity for chief master sergeant by defending my evaluation report? Was my supervisor a white guy? Country boy from West Virginia. Do you know the abolitionists who helped so many black people, slaves? Me and my wife went from the bottom of daggone New Orleans all the way to Canada, following some of the trails of the Underground Railroad. Do you know how many white people help and assist with the Underground Railroad? This ain't about being prejudiced. See, when you hear me talk about damn Erica, put the D in front of America, capitalize the E. When you hear me talk about damn Erica and Europeans, they are white people. But I'm not trying to say that all white people, but America's system is created by white folks to benefit white folks. So I say that. And you know what? There are some of these white people who acknowledge that. But why would I fault somebody because they're married to an opposite race who has kids, and their kids might want to identify with the black side? They might identify with the white. I don't care about that. My thing is this right here. Will you treat me the same with respect, dignity, and honor? That's what I'm talking about. I don't care whether or not, all about the white, this and that. And, because I know there are good people in this world and there are bad people in this world. But I happen to know in my experience of life, I've had more more white people who are bad, that I had a bad impact on me coming up than I did when it came to blacks. But I understand it's a world system. It's America. It's just the way America is. It's no different than Ukraine. The Africans are finally realizing they are looked upon differently when they thought they were just all together with the Ukrainians going to their colleges and, sitting there, maybe having a beer together. But when things get tough, the mindset, the race was going to divide and separate a people. And they're going to see that you are different than them. And I don't get mad at white people because they say, you're different than me. No, duh. I'm totally different than you. This don't burn from the sun. Yours do. That's first and foremost. I have a benefit off the bat and genetically known by the so-called DNA references that people, if they understood that, will show that the higher it is, your genetic segments or what have you, the more intelligent you are, which they prove that Africans have more. So it's not even trying to belittle white people. It's just the facts are the facts. So, but when we're in the Western world, they make you feel less than because their stories, their books are all about them. Their philosophers, their founding fathers, it's all about them. And then we fall into the trap of believing that we are less than. That's why I say, you know what? You can always go back to Africa and look at the kingdoms, the success, the way of life to be able to appreciate. Wow, didn't know that. You can see so many things of that. So appreciate that. Appreciate that question. How much should the ones who are interested in showing should be how much are the how much should the ones who are interested should be saving? Of course, aside from getting passports, etc. You know, there again, you do your homework. But I'll say this right here. How long are you going for? How do you want to live? How do you want to eat? Plays a part in how much money. I can't answer that question. How long are you going to be there? These are questions that I just cannot give you like, question. Well, I don't know about who's going to learn or not. You say that no, Europeans will never learn. Belligerency is the norm. Well, my thing is this right here. They know some things we don't know, and we know some things that they don't know. The sad part about it is that we want to follow them instead of following what is for us. See, we have the keys to the secret of life. Many of them who have come into Africa don't have that. They don't understand that. They've tried to break it down. And they have patterned societies off of it. Because everything is going to go back to a Kemetic teaching or a founding of a science, a math, astrology, and medical, and all the other subject matters you've been taught in college or school comes straight out of Africa. So Selecta M3 said, I'm mixed and not feeling black or white. There is, you know what? I'm gonna say this right here. There is no feeling of black or white. Please describe to me, how does it feel to be black? Some people are gonna say suppress, depress, put down, this and that. Really, how does it feel to, please describe to me the feeling of being black? There is no feeling of being black. It's the same thing of saying, please describe to me, how does it feel to be a boy? Because those who are on the LGBT side, some of them tell you this right here, I've always felt like I was a girl, or I always felt like I was a boy. Please describe that feeling. They can never do it. I've asked many of them. They can't describe it. You can't describe, how does it feel to be a man? Well, it's just I feel like, well, hold up. Then you got to know how it feels to be a woman in order to discern or differentiate the two of you being a man. Well, I feel like I know what you can do is outwardly look at something and maybe you can see the difference. And then that right there channels in you being the difference. Because we know you can always see something on the outside and choose to be it. The mixed race, the one drop rule was made up by racists. And it was. I mean, hey, if you had an ounce of blood, blood of you from an African, you were considered to be black. Now, I know we ain't even black. That's a made up word from a European. We are a people from the continent. We are the sun people. That's who we are. We're the sun. We're able to be in the sun. Europeans can't be in the sun long. And when they put on the sunscreen lotion, look at my video, go find my video of the sunscreen. When they put on the sunscreen lotion, do you know what it appears to the sun rays? When they look under a UV camera, they are black. Very interesting. They are black to their surprise. And all of them like, oh, because they show them, you see the reaction. This is what sunscreen lotion does. It's to screen the sun, but the screening of it is not necessarily screening it. What it's actually doing is it's under the UV, because of the chemicals that they put in it, it's giving the UV light to be able to come and to absorb within that because it's black. Check that video out. See, if we get educated in a lot of things and understand, why things are, you're going to become so empowered. You will take pride in your being black, if you will, brown, if you want to call yourself whatever, because this right here can tell a lot of stories beyond just the melanin. Do you know the lack of melanin? Please research it. The lack of melanin that you have will cause mental disturbance, mental issues. What do I mean by that? All right, because people think, oh, he's beating up on white people. No, 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 no. Do you know we are a people that need to be in the sun because our vitamin D levels will struggle to stay afloat if we are in these European countries, and they're always low. Every one of you all out here on this channel right now, if you're black, go to your doctor and have your vitamin D levels checked. And when you do, don't be surprised they tell you your vitamin D levels are low. Why? Because we're living in northern plain countries that we don't get enough sunlight. And we've taken on the habit of the European by hiding from the sun. So then because we have a lack of vitamin D, they're going to tell you, take vitamin D, which I do when it's in the wintertime because the sun's not shown much and it's cloudy. Because what happens when your vitamin D level gets low? You begin to have mental issues, anxieties, depressions. You heard the saying, especially those who are up in the northern plains when the sun's gone and all right there, you can get cabin fever. You can go crazy. You remember the movie, which was called Jack Nicholas was in it. Somebody help me out. What was the name of the movie he was in? They were watching the cabin up there during the winter time. What was that called? That movie called Shining or something like that. It wasn't about them being inside of a building, cabin fever. Yeah, you're locked in someplace, but it's because no sun, no vitamin D. When your vitamin D is low, this is what. Why was Europe inundated with COVID. So many people going. Why was America, Canada, they were all hit hard? Why? Northern Plains. Northern Plains. When they say, why wasn't Africa hit hard? You talk about Brazil. They said Brazil was hit hard. Brazil was hit hard. Brazil on the equator. Hold up. Let's look at this. Why are they saying Brazil had high numbers? Because you got to look at who is there, which they have a large population of Europeans that live there and Chinese people that live there. A large population. And guess what? People run from the sun. Me and my wife was in we were in Kenya. We was in Kenya and we are down on their beach. This African was with a white woman, European woman. I think she was from like maybe Germany, someplace like that. He's putting on freaking sun lotion. See, when you hang around those and not know who you are, you will behave and do the very things that they do. He doesn't even, you are African putting on suntan lotion or sunscreen rather. And you think you might have lost your mind. But I get it though, because when you want to be around those or you have been indoctrinated into behaving in certain ways, you take on the same mindset. But this is the distinguish between. I ain't got to call myself black man. They put that in there. I'm not a black man. We sun people. At Kabbalah or whatever name you want to give the continent of Africa. It wasn't even, Africa wasn't even a name. We're not Africans. Okay, all right, then whatever. The Shining. Thank you very much. The Shining was the movie I was talking about. He went crazy. He killed his family. It was because of the fact that he was stuck out in a place. There was no sun. It was dark every day. And yet people to this day, they'll tell you that live in Alaska and up in the North Plains of Canada have to deal with those depressions unless you get them vitamin D's up. Yeah, let's see here. Now, I ain't gonna say my skin peeled. I was in Bahamas, and my skin peeled on my face, on my shoulders and stuff. The reason why that happens, it was not from the sun per se. It's the reflection of the sand. Sand is small rock glass, even the water that will magnify the sun to cause it to radiate even more as far as it's shining. Some beaches you're going to find, depending on the type of sand it is, because you can have powder sand beaches, you can have you'll see some beaches that are rock, you'll see some that have bigger sand pellets than others. Those play a part in how that sun is hitting and it's reflecting off and hitting your skin. But it's not direct sun, because we can lay out in the sun and our skin needs to absorb the vitamin D, and it takes us a long time to absorb vitamin D. That's why you're going to see crime rates go up even crazier during the summer. Because during winter, as every brother and sister who live in these, which cities have the highest rates of crimes? New York City, Detroit, Chicago. You got on over to LA. And LA is in the warmer spot of place, but even though in the wintertime that the sun is gone. But I'm saying that when your vitamin D's are plummeting during the wintertime and your psyche gets radical, It roots its head during the spring and summer. And they act like this is something that is crazy. It's the truth of the matter. It's a fact. Let's see here. Other questions? For this response right, Africans did not engage in slavery until Europeans, Christians, and Islam showed up. The Portuguese started, then King James the First. Let me share with you, and to the point. I mean, that is part of it. Africa have had tribal wars. They had POW. This is the stories that are told me when I'm there. But they didn't have slavery. It wasn't slavery. It was that if you was a POW, you had to work off your time before you were able to be released to go back to your tribe. Or if the tribe was in a place of trying to expand itself, it would incorporate you, but you wasn't treated as a slave. You become the people. And there's only 3 ways that you would become part of a tribe that you had to work off your time to be released to go back. And that was number one, a POW. If you was a POW, what have you, prisoner of war that they call it, but they didn't call it prisoner of war. But if you're captured during battle, that you would have to do a time like a community service for the people in the tribe that got you, and you'll be released back into your people. Now, if they absorbed your that tribe, then you'll be released after doing your time to your family. Number two, this is what I was taught in Africa, not his story in Europe, but Africa. Number two, if you owed a debt that you did not pay back, you had to work it off. You became subject to the tribe, meaning that you had to work it off. Number three, if you committed a crime, you were subject to the tribe and be punished, and you had to work it off. Now, when the Europeans came into Africa and they bought their little trinkets and little things to trade that we got silly with, like we do here in America when it comes to jewelry and it comes to cars and comes to clothes, we get all out of control. And this is what the Africans did. You give them some trinkets that they never seen before, and they thought it was some good stuff. Oh, a mirror. I never saw myself in a mirror. Wow, look, hey, whoo, wow. But it came to a point where they decided, the Europeans, was we'll do this trade, and yet because we are such trusting people, as the Europeans came in, trade begins to happen. Now, before, of course, overtaking anybody, you got to befriend them. And in befriending them, you got to at least break something that's so strong to a people in order for them to fall. Does anybody know what that is? What is it? In order for you to gain a trust with the people, to overtake them, you got to take the one thing that they stand on. What is that? Their spirituality. Because if you could take the strength that they stand on and get them to surrender, to be able to walk away from, and you switch it with a bull crap, they have no more power. If you can get people to disbelieve in their almighty being or power or strength, God, whatever you want to call it. That's why I don't like to say God. That's a trick word that many of y'all don't have no power in, because you believe in that word God, that you think that it's going to get you somewhere. Or Jesus, because the name wasn't even Jesus. So now, all of a sudden now, what? You're powerless. You're powerless. So what happened then is then that the Europeans was able to come on in and say, hey, look, you know what? We want to go ahead and buy some of your people. Try to look around and say who we got. We have POWs, we have criminals, and we have those who owe debt. Those were the first ones who were sold over or traded over to the Europeans to go. It got so now fruitful when they started sending us over and all that right there. The European, of course, greedy that they are, decided no, we're not going to trade or give you anything for the slaves. We're just going to take them. And that's what they did with the muzzle of the gun was they demanded now you give up a certain amount of people or we just overtake y'all. And then that's what happened too as well. So Africans are just as fault in the beginning of giving up Africans over to the Europeans. And that's their story that they will share with you that yes, it happened. But once they understood what they were doing, because Africans, like I said, they were not using POWs, those who committed crimes and who had owed debt, treated them like slaves. They thought the Europeans would release them too after doing their time. But when the word got back that was going on in these dungeons in Africa, that of all the harsh treatment and what they were putting them in these small little rooms and stuff packed together, shackled, and they started to see these things, that's when they begin to rebel. But you can only get so far when you got to muzzle the gun against a spear, a sword, or a hatchet, or machete. But we can equate that to what's going on in these Western worlds to us. We get so thinking we reach something because what? Oh, I'm wearing the clothes. I'm wearing the. See, that's a trade off. You got the house, you got the car, see, and then you lose yourself. Now you in their places up there that worshiping, and you stuck in a rut. And that's not to belittle anybody who's in their faith. Not that's not what I mean. What I mean is the fact that you've become them. You're in the church. They're the one who started that. Sit in the church. You got the preacher man up top talking. You give your money. See, they started that. You can't find that in no history in the Kemetic history of what this religion stuff came out of, and they turned it into a religion. You can't find that. Now you can find similarities. You can find things that are in the Bible or scrolls or scriptures or ancient writings. You can find that in there depictions of where you will find in Egypt, Africa, the largest. You can find the largest, you know, temples. You can find a lot. You can find the largest. But they were used in a total different way and fashion than what we have seen. Why? Because Europeans are going to take it and make it their way. That's just what they do. I don't blame them. You done took somebody's idea and you want to put your names on it and you want to go ahead and put your ways of doing it. And then you have your people do that. I ain't going to argue that. My only thing that I see is that we fell into it. And now we behave like them. And now we do all those things that they do. So just like when the Europeans came with the little gleam and glitter stuff and got them all mixed up and got lost, we're doing the same thing here in America. You think you got some dag on European name clothes on and you're driving some fashionable, expensive car, and you got your house living in a neighborhood that they told you is prevalent and it's got the best school districts and all right there. And we all like this. This is how we are. Any other questions? Because it's time for me to go to the gym. Let's see here. Let's see. DMG said, just because they not living right doesn't mean there is no creator. Well, every person has their own belief. Every person has their own belief. And here's the interesting thing. Most people only believe by what they were told. Very few people are living by what they experienced. All African leaders today suffering the people and making themselves and families rich. You think that's just Africa? Do you think Blue Diamond, that's just Africa? Do you not think that these politicians here, these senators, these politicians all around are not making themselves rich? Do you think America's not corrupt? Matter of fact, did you know America's the most corrupt country there is? Did you know that? But here's the thing. Here's the difference between American leader and an African leader. The difference between the two is this. America's got so many rules that there are procedures and things that can cause investigations and things done that here in America, the corruption, it has to be done precisely and it has to be done exact in order for you to get away with the very connections and the connections you have and the under the table deals that you have, that you got to be on point not to be found. Did you not just hear the $1.5 billion that this investment firm just stole? We know about the Madoffs a couple of years ago. We know that even Bank of America, who was fined just 3 years ago for having fake accounts, and they were going ahead trying to getting more money, what have you. All corruption's all the way around. Don't you think for one moment Africa is a problem? It has its problems, but daggone America has more corruption than any other place. Go Black said he's not black. Wait, how upset people get when you accept that? You know what's so funny? I don't care what people think. That's what made me successful today. I don't care what people think. You know how many people are held away from their dreams, their goals, are doing things because they're so concerned about what people think, what mama gonna say, daddy gonna say, sister gonna say, brother gonna say, wifey gonna say, husband gonna say, what kids gonna say. I don't care what they gonna say. Not if I know I'm doing right, not hurting anybody, and I know it's for the benefit for me and mine. I don't care what people say. I told people this right here. I, through the spirit of the Most High, because see, I know there's the Most High because of an experience I had that caught me in my living before I was about to take my life. But I know, not believe, I know there's an Almighty. And through that tapping in, that Almighty is within me, that I even understood even through religion, because I walk through religion and I could parallel it and say, oh, I kind of get that. I see that. I don't see that right there. I don't get that right there. But the whole concept of this black white thing was all stemmed in the 1600s when the Europeans decided to go ahead and divide a people by a color. I'm not black. And I heard that. That was the hardest thing I heard in my spirit years ago. I think I was 39 years old, and it took me a year to chew on it and be able to swallow it and digest it when I understood what that mean. What did I mean by what that mean? Okay. Typically, when you say black, most people right there's a stigma attached to it. There is a stereotype attached to it. Do you know many black people will only do things because they think this is just what black people do? Do you know many people will not do things because they're like, no, that's not what black people do? What you're actually doing is limiting yourself based upon a color of one's skin, or you thinking you are something that you should not be or should be doing. I ain't going skiing. Black people don't do that. I ain't going surfing. Black people don't do that. I ain't going over there. Black people don't go over there. I've said that many a time. And I've turned down a lot of things because thought that that's just what black people don't do. So the mindset, the mentality of thinking that the color of your skin, which they said was black, that then you box you in thinking that you are this or are not that, limits you. No, I am not black. My skin DNA is. Who am I then? I am greater than this body, y'all. I am greater than this body. And I can differentiate the two, not the body, but my mentality and my spiritual side. I see the difference. I know the difference. So not this body, but I who lives within this body is not black. It's just my body is. And I'm greater than my body, way greater than my body. I hope that helps somebody. Do you know how Benin Kingdom fought back to reclaim people? Go to the old chiefdoms of Congo and see the fight back where many whites were killed. Okay, let's see here. I got 15 minutes, and y'all got any more questions? What time is it? Yeah, we good. We good. I like that right there. Brother Y. Jones said, "Yo, we are not a color. They stole our identity, language, and culture." How do they? This goes back to what I was just saying. How do you infiltrate and overtake your enemy? Take their spirituality from them. You are the spirituality. That's your identity. When you take that away from somebody, you are just a dead man walking. You adhere to anything now. You are subject to your oppressor because they're going to tell you now and teach you because now you've lost everything. But when you know that you're beyond just the skin, because this joker gonna die. When you understand that that spiritual, that spirit being within this form of what we call a body that nobody can get to. That's why I say I don't care what nobody thinks. I'm not going to let you infiltrate my inner being of who I am to tell me what you think that I should or should not be doing. The inner is going to show me what I should and should not be doing. But if you surrender to somebody and you get affected because people say this or that about you, or people right here is going to go ahead and say you black or you white and you ain't this, you that, you got 1 ounce of blood, you this or that, and you see, that's called infiltrating to your spirit. And once they got that, you done. This is how they overtook Africa. Oh, we're not supposed to be walking around naked. Oh, we got to put clothes on. Oh, we're sinning to who? This guy. Who are y'all dancing to and praising this entity outside of here? And you're here with a half little clothes on. No, you're doing it wrong. This is the Jesus right here. This right here is the God that you should be serving, this and that. Oh, for real. Hey, y'all, we need to put away what we've been doing because he said that we're supposed to be doing this. And guess what happened? Colonization. It happens here every day. It's the same thing that happens every day. If we can keep the people spiritless, see, religion's not nothing about spirit. How you go to some church and they gonna talk all day about, get your blessing, prosperity, give your money, and God is gonna bless you with stuff. Really? You mean he ain't gonna bless my spirit? He gonna bless my stuff? You mean things that can rot, rust, and people can come steal? You mean that I will be prosperous in stuff? See, religion done took over and took away your spirit, and it's kept you as a babe that you can't even grow. I'm just saying for some of those. I don't know where everybody goes. I'm not talking about everybody's places of worship. No, no, no. I ain't saying that. What I'm saying is that if you surrender who you are over to somebody else, they will enslave you. How do you see people, so many people in these jobs today who are stuck on these jobs and they got you moving at every beck and point? Sir, can I take off for leave? And they tell you, they give you these confines, this box you live in. This is what you do. This is how you operate. This is what you're going to do, and you're going to perform in this area. This is your job description, and you do this right here and all that. You're going to let us know if you want to take some leave off. We'll approve it. We might disapprove it, whatever. And you got to call in if you're going to be sick. You're going to let us know. And so you become the system. And when you're in part of the system, which I have been for many a years, so I'm not trying to act like I'm perfect and ain't been part of. No, you lose yourself and you become the identity of that so-called institution, corporation, company, U.S. military, whatever it might be affiliated with. Some people tattoo their brands, those names, entities on them. Some will brand themselves. Some will go ahead and, get stickers and everything to identify. And what it's doing is just pulling more, you're losing more of yourself. So now that you can go walk around talking about, yeah, I am an employee of. I am a football player. I am see, instead of saying, come on, y'all, some of y'all who know that scriptures, I am that I am. Y'all got me into preaching now, if you want to call it preaching. Let's see here. Good morning to you, Jafia 3. Nice haircut, go black. I need a haircut. I haven't had a haircut. Let's see here. Brother, visit East Africa, especially Somalia, and it is open for business, and it's like new country now. Oh, I'm going to be going over there. I mean, I've been to East. I don't know if you've seen where I've been. I mean, I was there, Ethiopia, Egypt, Tanzania, Rwanda, Kenya. I've been there on the East. I haven't been to Somalia yet. Are you in Somalia? Maybe you could be one to show me around. I don't know, but hey, yes, I will be in Somalia sometime soon. And typically, if somebody's reaching out to me, like a couple countries, they say, hey, we'd love to host you, like to show you around, this and that. Got it. Here's a question right here. Sustainable Home Empire MGT. How do you identify if you're not Black? That is an awesome question. Do you know, anytime you identify yourself with something outside of the thing, the Almighty, if you will, and everybody got so many definitions of that, because you only can give a definition on your own understanding. I like to use my definition based upon my life experience with that I am that I am. But every time you identify yourself with something, you strip just a little bit more off of yourself. This is why I say you need to unravel the identification like an onion. You got to take these layers off because we put so many identifications on. But when I finally got free, I said, I'm not Black. That means then I am bare naked spiritually in a spiritual dimension, then the component that is limited in the physical, the body. So now I'm not weighted down with all this identity. I can freely flow. But what do you mean by that? Freely flow. I am not subject. I am not obligated to anything, anyone. I can freely flow. See, I can go in a place that has all white people if I want to go in there and have a drink at a bar. Now, I may not be wanted, but you know what? I could go there. I can go out surfing if I want. I can go out skiing if I want. See, these are the things I said were traps on the minds that when you are limit yourself in the mindset of thinking that you're something, because you will typically attach stereotypes or other messages to the idea of being black. What is black? What does that mean, being black? I don't need to say that I'm black. My skin shows what my body is, and it's nothing more than a pinpoint of where I originated from. This is the confusion the young people are having. We were native to this land. Full, okay, all right. We know there were Africans here before the Europeans came. Africans came back and forth, trading and all that right there. And some decided to even, let's just say, chill out and make it at home. But it is known, whether you want to say by the Asians, by the Europeans, and by where's the Aborigines, whatever it is, all fine. There is black folks who's been in their countries for years. And they used to give us the respect. We used to be on their paintings. If you look in history, look up Poland, look up Russia, look up the Black Madonna, and see how they give homage and respect to the Black woman and child. But we all knew that originating from those long thousands, tens of thousands of years ago, came where the most populated continent of where we are found was Africa. But we are a migrating people. So I released myself from really calling myself black, even though I say go black on the physical side, connected to the motherland of where our people are, to be reconnected, renewed by our minds, to get the rest of the story, so that it can now unleash some chains off around our mindsets, our spiritual component, so that we can be freer people. Let's see here. I have 3 more minutes. Any other questions? You are human. What does human mean? Who made the word human up? And why would you subscribe to a name that, if you want to say, okay, all right, we all agree, people are considered humans. Okay, you are human. Did that gain me anything? Did that make me any more enlightened? No, it really didn't. It really didn't. Yeah, we're humans, if you will. What type of human? Because there's many types of humans. Yeah, you don't need anybody telling you, Wildfire, who you are. I couldn't tell you who you are. Only you know who you are. True that. You notice that there's a lot of things that when it comes to black affiliation, it's always typically is going to be as a associated with being bad. This was the trick. This is the mindset. And even when we subscribe to it, unbeknownst to us, unconsciously, we will behave in that fashion. Yeah, some black people are saying that they're Israelites and not Africans. Hey, I'm not going to tell you who you are. If that's who you say you are, that's who you be. Some blacks are saying that they are natives. They are the natives of America. I ain't gonna arm wrestle, tongue wrestle with people about who they are. If that's who you say you are, that's who you say you are. My thing is just right here. I know one thing we got in common. All right, family. Well, I'm sorry that our guest could not show up, but I wanted to at least then give you all the opportunity to just hear something positive. And I hope that you all gained something within. And I started off in this conversation about getting over your fear so that you are able to become your full potential. because so many of us live in fear. So many of us are afraid. Some of us don't even want to take a chance. Some of us are afraid to get out and try. And so many people out here, who have left to go to Africa. Not even just Africa. I'm gonna be interviewed. I'm gonna be in Mexico here in a few. I'm gonna be in Mexico here before I even go to Africa. I'm gonna be interviewing Black folks over there, down there in Africa. I mean, in Mexico. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Africa don't have to be the place for you to go. If you find a place that's conducive to you, that you get the respect and the honor that's due you, go for it. Who am I to say that Africa's supposed to be for all Africans? No, we around the globe. And this world shouldn't be controlled by anybody. These borders and all these things that you got to have to enter in these countries. Man dominated that, having his own. Why? Fear of each other. Fear. Because you got people out who are greedy and want to take what's yours or your spot. We want it all. That's what the Europeans did. So then people had to go ahead and build their armies, build up their borders, build up all, because the Europeans went around the globe taking everything. It just is what it is. With that, family, this is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. Thank you very much for each and every one of you all. You all have a beautiful